pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's okay.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, Class 92, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow firefighters. My name is Randy Collins, and I'm the Director of the Fire Technology Program here at Santa Rosa Junior College. Before I turn the ceremony over to Chief Thompson, I feel it is both fitting and important that we acknowledge the unprecedented fires that occurred during this academy and continue to this day. Like me, I suspect many of you cannot but help see the bitter irony that at a time when these 26 individuals chose to make a commitment as firefighting as a career, that only a few miles away, perhaps the worst and most damaging, costly, as well as most deadly fire in U.S. history occurred. It also serves as a poignant reminder of the selflessness of those who have chosen this profession, including those within this gathering, and many in the Academy class who during the fire siege were actively involved in fire suppression, evacuation, patient care, and other response activities. For that, you have my deepest gratitude. It also speaks to the dangers inherent to this profession, and despite our best efforts, risk of injury and death that pose a continuous threat to those who continuously dedicate their lives. Accordingly, I would ask all of you to join me in observing a moment of silence for CAL FIRE fire engineer Corey Iverson, who lost his life from the Thomas Fire on December 14th. Thank you. Now, one more item that I always attend to is it is my duty to remind everybody that the Fire Academy is something that is it's like raising a child. It does take a village, to coin a 1990s phrase. This academy would not be possible with the many fire departments that assist in its delivery. And there are just a few chiefs representing those agencies which I wish to recognize before we move on. And there's also a few other dignitaries that I'd also like to recognize. Please hold your applause to the end. First off is President Dr. Frank Chong, Santa Rosa Junior College. District 2 Supervisor David Rabbit. Chief Tony Gosner, Santa Rosa Fire Department. Battalion Chief Ken Sebastiani of the Santa Rosa Fire Department. Battalion Chief Tom Saragusa, San Francisco Fire Department. Chief Jason Boaz, Healdsburg Fire Department. Assistant Chief Wes Kitchell, Sonoma County Fire Department, retired. Division Chief Linda Collister, Healdsburg Fire Department. Chief Dave Franceschi, Forestville Fire District. Chief Gary Green, Napa County Fire Department. Chief Jeff Davidson, Mill Valley Fire Department, retired. Chief Jim Colangelo, Sonoma County Fire Department, and Chief Marshall Tuberville, both CAL FIRE and Geyserville. And I'd also like to recognize John T., Santa Rosa Rotary Club East, and I think I might have missed Barry Gabe, who's Sonoma County Fire Department, retired. So gentlemen, thank you all for the contributions you make. Dr. Chong, the podium is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to say, on behalf of our Board of Trustees, our faculty, our administration, our alumni, I want to congratulate the 92nd class, 26 individuals who persevered, and you're here today as a result of your persistence and your commitment to the community. How many in the audience attended Santa Rosa Junior College? Please raise your hands. Okay. And you can see there's quite a number of you. And now you're part of a class of over 1 million students who've gone through Santa Rosa Junior College in its 100 years of service. 2018 will mark our centennial. Santa Rosa Junior College is the 12th oldest community college in the state of California, and we like to think one of the best in the state, if not the country. So you're actually joining a group of alumni that have made a significant impact on our community in the North Bay, in Sonoma County, and also throughout the country and the state. So please remember Santa Rosa Junior College. You'll always be Bear Cubs. And when we go out there in the community, when I was touring the fire devastation, many of the firefighters, the first responders, the nursing, the EMTs, the dispatchers, many of them were trained at Santa Rosa Junior College. So you're not going to be alone out there when you go out there in the community and you work. You're going to run into a lot of SRJC graduates. And that's the significance of this institution that you're associated with. I also want to thank Randy and Kim and the other faculty members for their dedicated service to get me here today. I believe that we have the best faculty, bar none, in the state and in the country, and they are totally 100% all in terms of making sure that you get to where you need to go, and that's why you're here today. And I also want to thank all the fire chiefs for being here as well. I understand that we can't do it alone. We need the cooperation and the support, and you give it to us, and we really, really appreciate it. So with that, I just want to, again, congratulate you. I was actually not going to come today, but my assistant said, Dr. Chung, David Rabbit's son's graduating. And I said, well, you know, David's been, every time I see him, he goes, you know, my son's in the fire academy, and he loves it, Dr. Chung. He finally found his way, and all this. I'm sorry, I'm embarrassing you, Patrick. But you never know when I'm going to need a favor from a supervisor. So David, I gave up a tea time to Petaluma Country Club for this. I just want you to know, between you and me. So thank you very much for having me, and have a great graduation, have a great career, and do us proud. Thank you very much.
You guys ready? Good afternoon. I'm Kim Thompson, the Firefighter 1 coordinator for the Santa Rosa Junior College. Families, friends, staff, instructors, recruit training officers, dignitaries, and most importantly, graduates, good morning. It's actually afternoon, isn't it? So this graduating academy has met for over 500 hours of instruction, 19 weeks. And they went through curriculum testing, state fire training testing, midterms, sleepless nights, some real, some just self-induced, but and an unprecedented firestorm during their academy. But the key thing is, you 26 made it, and congratulations to you. As we've talked about numerous times, and you've heard countless times from your instructors, and you'll hear it for the rest of your careers, this is just one step in your long journey to become a firefighter. Never stop achieving. Never stop going after that goal, that next step. As a Firefighter 1 Academy recruit, these people have sacrificed much to get to this point. You've missed many functions with your family and friends that an ordinary person may take for granted. Not only have you sacrificed, but your friends and family have sacrificed as well. Don't ever forget that. This is just the beginning of such sacrifices. Working on holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, missing soccer, baseball, basketball games, dance recitals, and other special occasions are the norm of a firefighter. It takes very special and understanding family and friends to make relationships work through these times, such as the life of a public servant. And now, I ask each and every one of you in the audience to continue to support and encourage these young men in their vision and careers. They have a lifetime of public service ahead of them, and they'll need your help along the way. So it takes many people to put on an academy like this. Chief Collins talked about the other fire departments that came in and always lend a hand, lend personnel, lend equipment, monetary. But I'd like to now acknowledge the 40 instructors, evaluators, professional experts, and recruit training officers that we utilize in this academy. Some of who are here today, many are on their way back from Southern California, and some are still sitting down there waiting for Christmas to come. So for everybody who worked in the academy, whether it's a professional expert, instructor, RTO, could you please stand and give your round of applause from the recruits, please? And now, excuse me, now I'd like to do a special acknowledgement to some extremely important members of the Academy staff. They've already stood up once, but I'm going to have them stand again. Could Brandon Militello, Marshall Turbeville, Justin McNulty, and Robin Haynes please stand? These recruit training officers set the standards for this academy. From enforcing uniform standards, lineup precision, marching, disciplining of the recruits, support and tutoring, these recruit training officers guide these graduates through a semester and set an example of what a firefighter needs to do to succeed. And maybe more importantly, who they need to be. Thank you for your commitment to these young men. Mr. Barnabas, would you like to come forward? Class leader, Philippe Barnabas. I do want to acknowledge Derek Brown, assistant class leader Derek Brown led the Pledge of Allegiance today. And I won't tell him why, but Mr. Brown was up here first, so Mr. Barnabas, all yours.
Good morning, how's everyone doing? Good afternoon, how's everyone doing? Okay. Welcome to the 92nd Firefighter 1 graduation. 5 months ago, on this very quad, we embarked on a journey. Many of us having full-time jobs, we committed to a 7-day-a-week schedule that pushed us mentally and physically. On our first day, we were introduced to our recruit training officers. Ex-Marines, they quickly introduced us to discipline and pain. We did push-ups till we bled, but we bled together. We formed a cohesive unit and quickly became a team. A strong sense of camaraderie was a telling facet of this academy, and it made the hard times so much more manageable, nay, even enjoyable. While still in the affectionately known butt-sniffing stage of the academy, where we get to know each other, we were proactive in creating study groups, a study guide, and organizing skill practice sessions in preparation for midterm exams. Midterm exams, so you know, typically cause 10 to 15% of an academy to fail. With our academy, however, every single student not only passed, but we passed with a 93% average. The team spirit really came to the fore, with people coming early and staying late to help those that struggled. That was on October 8th. On October 9th, the world was on fire. The most devastating fire in Californian history was taking place in our backyard. We were filled with an urge to help in any way possible, and almost all the students contributed, either through their volunteer stations, on ambulances, at evacuation centers, and in the community. When we returned to school, we learned what dedication and duty meant firsthand from our instructors. Their calm and stoic conduct reminds me of a quote by Chief Edward Crocker that said, "When a person becomes a firefighter, their greatest act of bravery has been accomplished. What he does after that is all in the line of work." I still remember the first time we recited the firefighter oath after the fires. Every word held more meaning. It was declared with vigor and pride. The quad shook with determination that day because we were face to face with our calling. The Santa Rosa Junior College Firefighter 1 program has a storied reputation for producing quality firefighters. And if you've been a student here, it's no surprise. On a daily basis, we were surrounded by men and women of exceptional caliber. Professional experts and fire service personnel would give us their time till 10, 11 p.m. at night, often giving up their weekends and coming straight to the academy after work to help us succeed. I speak on behalf of the class when I sincerely thank you. We would not be here without the energy and effort that you put into all of us. Time and time again, through actions like this, we see why the fire service is called a family. The example you set for us is first class, and we are beyond lucky to have you as mentors to guide us. They say you are the average of the company you keep, so we are all definitely better men for having experienced and lived amongst you for these 5 months. You showed us that a career in the fire service is not a job, it is a way of living, every moment of every day, in every situation. Finally, to you, the parents, partners, siblings, children, friends, and colleagues in the crowd, we thank you. This endeavor would not have been possible without your encouragement, support, and belief in us. You picked up the slack when we were exhausted. You put up with the smell when we came home on 110-degree days. We owe our achievement in great deal to you. Thank you for being there for us when we needed you. Oscar Wilde once said that people sleep peacefully in their beds at night because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. This quote references military service, but in the domestic setting, when the panic button is pushed, it is the fire department that reacts to safeguard life and property. We are the next generation of those rough men, ready to stand up and protect their community. I pray we have the vigilance and courage of those that have gone before us, and I hope we combine it with the advances in technology and training available to us to face the new challenges that are present in firefighting today. Academy 92, it's been an honor to have grown with you. We will cherish this achievement and remember with fondness that our path to becoming a firefighter began here, together. I wish us all luck in our journey to getting hired, and I hope to see you on the fire ground one day soon. 26 in, 26 out. Objective complete. Ready for your assignment.
Trying to make the rest of us look bad, aren't you? Mr. Potter. So the class put together, Mr. Potter in particular, put together a 4 or 5 minute video of kind of what their activities were this past 19 weeks. And if everything works, we'll have it up on the screen here shortly.
You're good.
Very nice job, Mr. Potter, very nice. One question, why wasn't there any pictures of you guys in the ICS class in there?
Chief Thompson is the ICS instructor, that's why I asked him. It's my pleasure to be able to introduce our keynote speaker for today, who I've known for quite a number of years. It's Chief Jason Boas of the Healdsburg Fire Department. He's a Sonoma County native and a 20-year fire service veteran. He's a graduate of this program, the 37th class, and began his career as a reserve firefighter with the Healdsburg Fire Department. After spending time working for Skywalker Ranch Fire in Marin County and Boise Fire Department in Idaho, Jason came back to Healdsburg, saw what a good life and what a great department it is, and spent 10 years as a fire captain and 3 years as a department training officer. He's served as fire chief for 2.5 years and is currently vice president of the Sonoma County Fire Chiefs Association and on the REDCOM Board of Directors. Jason has a bachelor's in ethics and public policy from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and is in the process of completing his master's in public administration from Sonoma State University. And he lives in the Dry Creek Valley with his wife Allison and his 4 children. I don't know how you have time to keep up with all that, but ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Chief Jason Boas.
Thank you, Randy. I don't know how I keep up with it sometimes myself, but. So, good afternoon. It's really my honor to be here today. As you mentioned, I too am a graduate of this academy 20 years ago. I sat in the same seat you are. And really proud of what I had accomplished and proud of what we had accomplished together as a group, similar to what you talked about. And eager to make my way into the workforce. That was the 37th Academy. It's up there on the wall if you don't believe me. It was also the extended academy like yours. So I know full well the sacrifice you've made and what a commitment it is to do what you just did and the impact it has on your work and on your family. So I commend you for that sacrifice. Good job. Before I go on, I want to thank Santa Rosa Junior College Fire Technology Program for the opportunity to speak to you today. And I'd especially like to give my gratitude to Director Randy Collins and Academy Coordinator Kim Thompson. Both of these gentlemen I've worked very closely with over my career, and I have the deepest respect for you two. As well as all this cadre of staff sitting in front of you. We're also around for my academy, a lot of them. So. I'd also like to thank President Frank Chong, Program Administrator Heather McFadden for all the work you do, and Fire Advisory Committee, including Chair Chief Sebastiani, as well as the many adjunct instructors and professional experts and evaluators. Without their help, this academy wouldn't be possible. So thank you. So just to tell you a little bit more about myself, I did begin my career as a reserve firefighter in Healdsburg in 1997 after I graduated from college. And my first job was with Lucasfilm Limited in Marin County, which was a great job. I was a firefighter engineer there for about a year. And it was here that I came to know one of the people who had the greatest impact on my fire career, and that was Chief Tom Forster from Skywalker Ranch. Now, Tom, he always exhibited this intelligence and competence and profound support for the people that worked for him. He promoted an environment that that valued customer service and respect and education, cornerstones of a good organization. And those are the values that I've tried to emulate in my career, or I'm trying to. So, but I'll talk about a little bit more about mentors in a moment. So in January of 2000, I accepted a position with Boise City Fire Department in Boise, Idaho. I just saw it as a great opportunity to gain some experience, work for a larger department. And though I never told them there, of course, it was always my intention to come back to Healdsburg because that's where my heart was, and I loved working there. So I worked there for almost 2.5 years before accepting a fire engineer position at Healdsburg Fire Department. So And my experience there, it was great for me coming from Sonoma County because it gave me an opportunity to work in a department that had 14 stations. I got to work in all different areas, all different types of the city, and most importantly, with all different personalities and all different people. And that, I think that perspective has helped me a lot in moving forward in my own career. So, on September 11, 2001, the day our country was attacked, 343 firefighters died, and 71 law enforcement officers. I was working that day, working a 48-hour shift on the track in downtown, and I just dropped my wife off at the airport. She was a flight attendant for United Airlines at the time, and she was actually working a flight into San Francisco that morning. As a matter of fact, she often worked the Newark-San Francisco flight, which was one of the planes that was hijacked and flown into one of the Twin Towers. So everything changed for me personally that day. It was a world-altering event for me. It was kind of an end of the innocence, I think, for myself as a newer firefighter, but I think also for the country. I think the world, my job, certainly my wife's job, they would never be the same after that. Thankfully, I did get hired back in Healdsburg as a fire engineer and moved back to Sonoma County in 2002. And I only bring this up because we've just recently, together, experienced another life-changing event with the recent firestorm. I think it's affected every one of us in one way or another, and I think it's brought out the best in all of us. Only time will tell how it'll shape our collective future together, but it's important that we stay positive, learn from it, rebuild, and become better responders because of it. So from my perspective, all of the firefighters, police officers, EMS personnel, dispatchers, they were the absolute warriors that night, and I'd venture to guess that most people involved in that event had never seen conditions quite like that. The wind, the fire behavior, the complete destruction, but also the heroism and the rescues, the evacuations. I mean, it was unprecedented what happened, and there's no doubt in my mind that first responders in Sonoma County saved thousands of lives that night. So, the kinds of things that were going on, as I'm sure you're aware, and it sounds like some of you were involved in, you don't train for that in the fire academy. And even the command and control necessary to run an incident like that, it takes some time to put in place. So in a lot of respects, you well know, a lot of the crews there were working under what we call leader's intent. You guys know what leader's intent is? You heard of that? So it's a term that originated in the military for combat situations that are dynamic and complex and moving at a fast pace. So leader's intent basically describes what success would look like. Okay, it's the goal that you want to achieve without specific instructions on how to do it. And in the fire service, of course, as you're well aware, ours are life safety, property conservation, and protecting the environment. So most of that night, I think, was spent on the first one, life safety. And in my opinion, crews did an amazing job. So you're graduating and getting jobs at a pretty remarkable time in Sonoma County Fire Service and in California Fire Service, with, of course, the 2017 fire season being probably, I think it is the worst on record in terms of loss of property and life and cost. And, of course, sadly, as Director Collins mentioned, on December 14th, the Thomas Fire claimed the life of engineer Corey Iverson from CAL FIRE in San Diego. And, it serves to remind us that this job is not without risks, as I'm sure you're all aware. Sometimes you can do everything right, and bad things can still happen. And it's an unpredictable and unforgiving environment that we work in. That's why I personally was so thankful that no Sonoma County first responders were seriously injured or killed in the early stages of the Tubbs fire. It's miraculous, really, if you think about it, the conditions they faced. I think it's a testament to the training and the skill and the knowledge of our first responders in Sonoma County. And, well, in our surrounding counties, of course. So now it's December 22nd, and there's still fires burning in Southern California. and impacting them the way the fires here impacted us. And of course, we sent a lot of help down there because that's what we do. They came to help us when we needed them. But I gotta tell you, it's not every year that I'm, hoping that our strike teams return in time to spend Christmas with their families. So it's rather unusual, and hopefully not the new norm. So, I don't know, maybe the California fire season is year-round now. Sure seems like it. So I remember having a conversation with one of my fire captains after the Valley Fire in Lake County, and just basically talking about how that was a career fire, that you might not see something like that again, or at least for a really long time, the likes of which we've never seen. But here we are, two years later, and in Sonoma County, we just experienced the most deadly, destructive, and costly fire in California, maybe the United States history. So, and if you think back, I grew up in Sonoma County, and if I think back over my childhood and over the years, and think about the weather and the weather extremes, what we've been experiencing, I don't remember extremes like that growing up. We had record drought, and we had record drought for a few years, followed by floods in 2014, and then the 2015 fire season in Lake County, record rainfall in 2016, and of course now we have the 2017 fire season. So it seems like we're having the 100-year disaster almost every year in California. So be prepared for that. Who knows what it's going to be next. So we're witnessing more extreme fire behavior, more rapid fire growth and spread, and even significant wind events, which are usually reserved for Southern California primarily. So one takeaway for you, in my opinion, should be this: always pay attention to the weather. Know the weather. Study fire behavior, and stick to what I consider to be the most important fire order, which is base all action on current and expected fire behavior. Because you know what, it could happen again. I said it could happen next year. It could happen tomorrow. So another takeaway from the recent fires that I have, and you should too, is the emphasis we have on taking care of ourselves, peer support. The Central LNU Complex Incident Base was the first time that I saw the peer support trailer on an incident, and I was told that it was only the third time it's been activated. Regardless, it's a good sign, and I would expect that it would be a regular resource for you moving forward. The people staffing it, I went in there and talked to them and spent some time with them. The people staffing it all have fire experience, they all know what they're doing, and they can offer all types of resources to help you, your crew, or anyone else you think is in need. And I recommend using it because you're not alone in this profession. For too long in the fire service, we've neglected to really look out for ourselves. We take care of everybody else, but we neglect to look out for ourselves, or one another sometimes. And in difficult, traumatic incidents, and even their cumulative effect on us over the years, almost completely ignored. It was a stigma, really, to show any sign of weakness, or emotion, really, post-incident. You're almost encouraged to suppress it and not deal with it. That's the history. But over time, this behavior has all kinds of negative effects on your body and on your mind, on your soul, and it can lead to all kinds of manifestations, including, addiction, destructive behaviors, and even suicide. You may know suicide rates of firefighters are going up. So those days are over. And I like to think that, we're on the forefront. Chief Tony Gosner is here from Santa Rosa Fire Department, and Tim Abadera, also from Santa Rosa Fire. They've been working together to be leaders in Sonoma County in the area of peer support. And it's a great example of labor and management working together. In Healdsburg, we've jumped in on that too. We've sent a couple people through the program, as I'm sure a lot of other agencies around Sonoma County and our surrounding counties have as well. Okay? So we'll continue to look out for each other moving forward. Okay? So if you remember anything I said today, I'm going to consider this to be a success, but I don't want to take all your time, but I do want to leave you with 10 thoughts, 10 things But, I've learned over the years, observations I've had, and, you can take them or leave them, but I was just trying to think of some good pieces of advice to give you. First of all, dress for success, number one, okay? You're professionals. You're going to be professional firefighters. In my opinion, professionals don't walk around in t-shirts all day. My expectation of my crews is that unless you're training, working out, or doing equipment, you're wearing your buttons and badges until the evening when work shuts down. And you should take pride in putting that uniform on, putting that badge on. You've earned it. And it's a privilege that not everybody gets. And in my opinion, you can lead from the bottom on that one. Look sharp. Make sure your uniforms are clean and tight and professional. And that goes for your PPE too. I'll tell you one quick story about PPE. I've been a captain for about 8 years. And we got a vegetation fire. It was probably 12:15 in the evening. I think it was fall. It was cold out. I was like, you know what? It was in Windsor, so it was a little bit of a run for us. And I was thinking to myself, this isn't going to be nothing. So we go out to the Ape, and I just get in my turnout boots, sling on my turnout coat, and my engineer and firefighter come out on the other side of the rig. And my firefighter, Amanda, kind of says overhead, like, what should I put on for this? And I made some comment, like, well, I'm just putting my turnout pants on. This is going to be nothing. And my engineer, John Sullivan, who's a captain now, he looked at her and he goes, don't listen to him. This is A shift. This is going to be a working fire. Put your gear on. He was right. We got there. It was like a 2-acre grass fire, and I got caught. I had to change right there on the side of the road, and it was embarrassing. But I learned from it, and I promised to myself that night that I wasn't ever going to do that again. I wasn't going to be that guy who got complacent again. And so remember that. Don't get complacent with your PPE. Always put it all on, tool up, and get off the engine ready to work. Number 2, be selective about where you decide that you want to work. Now, this is a piece of advice that was given to me when I was testing for a job, and I never really thought about it because I just wanted to get a job as a firefighter. But, it's testing all over the place. But, each department has its own culture, and its own identity. All right, so as a good friend once told me, we're all doing the same thing. We're just doing the same thing differently. So it's important that you make sure it's a good fit for you too, where you decide to go to work, because you're valuable and you possess skills, traits, and abilities the departments are looking for. Okay, so I truly encourage you to consider the type of environment that you want to work in and pursue that. It might take a little while longer. But figure out where you want to work and focus your energy there. That's just my advice. And number 3, remember who you work for. And by that, I mean I don't mean your company officer. I don't even mean your chief. If you're in a public agency, if you go to work for a public agency, you work for the taxpayers. You work for the public. They're the ones that own your engines. They're the ones that own your station. They own your equipment. They pay your salaries. So you should always conduct yourselves, in my opinion, as professional stewards of the taxpayers' resources. And don't forget that. Recognize that serving your community is a privilege. Nothing is routine, in my opinion, and I tell my crews this. Every interaction with the public is an opportunity. So seize that. Don't let it go by. Number 4, take care of yourself and those around you. So maintain your own physical and mental wellness and that of your crew. If somebody isn't mentally or physically able to do the job or to respond, then the entire crew and the entire incident are at risk. Okay? Thankfully, I mentioned earlier, we are finally in a spot in the fire service, in the fire profession, where we're developing a culture where it's okay to ask for and receive help. This is a tough profession. And it's okay and it's natural to struggle sometimes. The trick is to get through it in one piece. Okay? So, number 5. Don't ever think that you got it. Okay? With the exception of a couple people in this room who might truly got it, the rest of us are still learning, myself included. You should be learning and growing in this job until the day you retire, and then some. I try every day to better myself, to better my crew, to better our department, and I do this by trying to keep an open mind and just constantly looking for new opportunities to gain knowledge. And I would expect the same to you if you came to work for me. Above all else, and this is probably the most important, you stay positive in your career. Negativity is toxic in this profession, and it's horrible to work around. There's a time and place to vent, of course, and often there's good reason to vent. And this is what the kitchen table is for, in my opinion. It needs to stay there, though. Don't take it onto the floor. Don't take it out into the world. Positivity will get you a lot farther in life. Trust me. Like I tell my kids all the time, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. You don't talk bad about your other departments, other cities, about other crews. Of course, you'll encounter things in your life that will test your resolve in this respect, and it's very difficult not to take it to work with you. I lost my first wife and the mother of my 2 children to leukemia in 2009, and it was a tough time. And our boys were 2.5 and 5 at the time. So a lot of people have asked me, how did you manage to stay positive and go on? And I don't really have an answer for that other than, it's better than the alternative. But I think that keeping a positive attitude, moving forward, putting one foot in front of the other, it opened up other opportunities for me. It's how I met my amazing wife, Allison, and now I have 2 more beautiful children, including my first daughter. We're shaped by our experiences, folks, so keep a good attitude and be a good influence on those around you. Number 7, perception is reality. On or off duty, always conduct yourselves in a manner that reflects positively on your organization and on the fire service as a whole. That's your legacy now. Cell phone cameras are everywhere, and it only takes one incident to destroy years of hard work and trust building. Number 8, find yourself some good mentors. You'll come across all types of people and all personalities in this profession. Find some you really admire and utilize them. One thing you'll find in the fire service is that the people you work with are genuinely willing to help you and care about you and want to guide you and teach you and train you. Take advantage of that. Seek it out, because it's there for your taking. 9, don't ever forget the toll that this job takes on your family. Cut them some slack too. They've had a tough day as well. As a firefighter, you're going to miss many holidays, birthdays, special events, kids' activities, family functions. So just remember that you're a team. And whoever is on this journey with you, they deserve recognition and they deserve a break sometimes too. So take good care of each other. And number 10, have fun. Because this really is the best job in the world. Enjoy it, because time's going to go by fast. So you've learned the basic skills you need to do this job in this fire academy. And so your task now is to develop those skills and to build on them. And it should take you the rest of your career. I'll be there with you, as will a lot of these people, both figuratively and literally. We'll most likely encounter each other on a fire sometime, as hopefully I have a lot of years left in this profession as well. Call me anytime, personally. I'll leave you my business cards. I'll make myself available to you. And I'll commit to helping you in your careers any way that I can. Okay? So we'll work together. We'll learn together. We'll go through some hard times together probably. We'll have some fun together. We'll embrace the future together. And we'll continue to prove that firefighters from our area are some of the best in the world. So again, thank you for your time and your attention, and best wishes for the future for you and your families. Thank you.
the traditions in public safety and also the military is that when someone goes above and beyond and does something like delivers a great speech, it's customary of the agency to present what's known as a challenge coin. And so on behalf of the Santa Rosa Junior College Fire Program, I would like to present this to you. Thank you.
Could I get the squad leaders and the class leaders up front here, please? In numerical order, if you could. The fire service is a paramilitary type organization. Our job is to bring calm to chaos. We must be that island of calm in a sea of confusion. This academy is set up.
What number are you?
They can raise a 24-foot ladder, but they can't count. Gentlemen, you ready? Okay. So this academy is set up the same way, utilizing the chain of command and the incident command system. There it is again, incident command system, to make the semester manageable for all of us, both the staff and the students. So the squad leaders I'm going to call up here shortly led their squads throughout the year. Their squads were made up of 2 to 3 other students. Squad leader was responsible for making sure their squad had all their personal protective equipment for the day, that they had their books, that they were dressed appropriately, their shoes were shined, their belts were in the gig line, and all the other things that we require them to do every day. They also help them through studying for midterms, for skills, for finals, and you know, their motto at the beginning was 26 in, 26 out, and that meant the lowest person had to be able to pass. So these squad leaders and everybody helped everybody to try to make it through the long 19 weeks of the academy. So gentlemen, you've all done an exemplary job. I'm going to call the squad leaders up first. Chief Collins, you're going to hand them that? Okay. So, and this is going in numerical order, so if you're not in numerical order, you're in big trouble. Mr. Barnabas and Brown, just take one step back if you would. So the first, squad 1, Michael Gillis. Squad 2, Trevor Pappas. Squad 3, Patrick Rabbit. Squad 4, Colin Tedrick. Squad 5, John Swartz. Squad 6, Nicholas Langevin. Squad 7, Martin Siragusa. And Squad 8, Antonio Gomez. Gentlemen, you can sit down. Squad leaders, please. Thank you. Nice job. Thank you very much. The 2 people left standing are the class leader, Philippe Barnabas, and assistant class leader, Derek Brown. And these 2 gentlemen were my conduit to the other 24 students throughout the semester. I'd pass on to them what needed to be done. They would pass on to their squad leaders, and it'd filter out to the students. We bounced things off each other as the semester went on. Every 2 weeks, I would meet with these 2 gentlemen along with the 8 squad leaders, and we would discuss how everybody in the academy is doing, where the weak points are, what we need to work on, how we can help those students. We discussed the classes, where this class is adequate for them to learn what they needed to learn for the testing, for the midterms. And they were a huge help throughout the whole semester. So as I call your name, if you would come up, and I think Director Collins has something for you as well. Assistant Class Leader Derek Brown. Class Leader Philippe Barnabas. Okay, gentlemen, you can have a seat. Thank you very much. Okay, I've got a couple other things here to just go over very quickly. The four gentlemen that brought up the flags, honor guard, this is the first semester we ever had an honor guard. They came to me and said, hey, can we put an honor guard together to raise the flag when the flag wasn't up? We had a moving ceremony for Corey Iverson, the CAL FIRE engineer who died. They did an outstanding job earlier this week. And so with their initiative, they came forward. So I'd just like the four people to stand up and get a round of applause. John Schwartz, Benjamin Potter, Vincent Richardson, all right, I'd like these four people to stand if you would. Tedrick, Gillis, Siragusa, and Gomez. You know what you're clapping for. So throughout the semester, they have a quiz after every class. And they don't get the opportunity to go home, study what the instructor talked to them that night. They have to read the material before coming to class. They come to class, the instructor instructs, and boom, they get the quiz after every class. And throughout the semester, they have about 25 quizzes, anywhere from 10 to 30 questions after every classroom session. And these were the final scores for these four gentlemen. First off, 23 of 26 students were above 90% this semester. I double checked to make sure all our keys were in, our quiz keys are in place, and they were. So they did just an outstanding job by them. So tied for second place at 97.7% was Gomez, Siragusa, and Gillis. And coming out 1/10 of a point ahead is Mr. Tedrick at 97.8. Very good, gentlemen. Thank you very much. So the State Fire Marshal of California puts out a test. These guys have to take a written test at the end of the semester, 160 questions, 100 firefighter 1 questions, 30 wildland, and 30 hazmat. And it's a very difficult test, conglomeration of everything all semester long, so they got a lot of studying to do. This class took it upon themselves to put together study guides, study groups, and come through and to take this test. And so could I have the following 5 people please stand? Langevin, Mr. Gomez, Mr. Barnabas, Mr. Potter, and Mr. Brown. So these were the top 5 scores, all over 90% of the final test, which is, like I said, a very difficult test. And Mr. Potter and Mr. Brown, you got 90%. Congratulations. Mr. Langevin, Mr. Gomez, and Mr. Barnabas, you got 91%. Outstanding job. And obviously all 26 got through the test, the final State Fire training test. So congratulations. You can have a seat, gentlemen. So lastly, what I want to talk about is PT now, physical training. These guys go through a prerequisite where they come into a 208 class, tells them what the Fire Academy is about. They give them a little bit about, hey, you got to be prepared to come into class. And a lot of times they come in, a lot of them come in prepared. The last class that came in, the total weight loss was 350 pounds during the academy. So they didn't come in the best group. This class that sits before you came in as the best shape I've ever seen a class. Matter of fact, at the midterm, they beat the final scores for PT, for mile-and-a-half run, for the course, and so we didn't do it for a final because they came in such good shape. So for all of you, congratulations, and thank you for doing that. And we could have Captain McNulty come up and give you 15 minutes on why you need to exercise for the rest of your life. But you need to exercise for the rest of your life. Take care of your body. So, let's see, Mr. Brown, Mr. Monberg, and Mr. Rabbit, please stand. So we have a PT final where you saw a lot of that up there where they drag a dummy through a course, they run, they put a ladder up, they pull a hose, and the time that we require them to finish that is 15 minutes. It prepares them for their physical tests that they have to do to entry level for a lot of departments in Sonoma, Marin, and Napa counties, and Mendocino counties. So 15 minutes was the actual time we wanted. Mr. Rabbit did it in 9:25. Mr. Monberg, 9:07. And Mr. Brown, 8:35. But like I said, the whole academy was outstanding, and I applaud you guys for the amount of what you put into your PT for the whole semester. You did an outstanding job. Thank you very much. Yeah. So the last two things that we do, Captain McNulty puts them through a sit-up. They have to do, how many sit-ups can you do in 1 minute? And so could Mr. Brown, Rabbit, and Frazee please stand up? Turn around and show your abs. No. So in 1 minute, Mr. Frazee did 55 sit-ups, Mr. Rabbit did 56, and Mr. Brown did 60. And last but not least is push-ups. They're required to do as many push-ups as they can without their knees touching the ground and without them stopping. So they can sit there and just hold a position, gain their breath, and go down and do a push-up, but they have to do a good, straight, plank-type push-up, down to the ground, fist high, and then come back up. And they can take as long as they want to do this. So, could these four people please stand up? Mr. Barnabas, Mr. Brown, Mr. Monberg, and Mr. Rabbit. So Mr. Rabbit did 100 push-ups without having to stop. Mr. Brown did 120. Mr. Monberg did 122, and Mr. Barnabas 126. Be seated. My arms hurt just saying that. Okay, Mr. Vickens, are you doing a presentation to Director Collins? Yes, sir. Come forward with you, please.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous right now. But I would just like to say, on behalf of Class 92, we're presenting this plaque to Director Collins here. And I just wanted to say, appreciate Mr. Thompson, Mr. Collins for everything you guys done, not for just us, but for me. I appreciate everything you guys done, and you helped us a long way. Words can't even explain how I feel right now, so I just want to say thank you again.
And Mr. Pappas, would you stand real quick? Mr. Pappas made that plaque. Okay, so I'll let the presenter present this next award from the East Rotary. Get that one every time. John Teague, who is also our photographer and did an outstanding job this year. John, would you come up and please present the award?
Sitting there in that seat, listening to the output of this class in physical fitness, feeling very old, very tired. My knees are killing me just listening. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity and honor to play a small role in recognizing these remarkable young men. To all of you in the 92nd Firefighting Academy, congratulations. You've done it. And I'm the only thing standing between you and getting this certificate. So today, I'm privileged to represent Rotary International. Rotary International is a service club, unlike Kiwanis. I know someone who's in Kiwanis. That's a little Another fine organization. And I'm a representative of the Santa Rosa East Rotary Club. We have 5 Rotary clubs here in Santa Rosa. And we make up a number of clubs in our district, District 5130, throughout the United States and throughout the world. There's 1.2 million Rotarians in the world. And our mission is to do things that help our community, our nation, and the world. Recently, because of the fires we had, in fact, 2 years ago, District 5130 created a nonprofit organization to help people who lost their homes and businesses during the Lake County fires. And right after this fire event, we resurrected that nonprofit, and we're collecting funds to help families and businesses that were affected by this firestorm that we recently experienced. So I'm proud to be a Rotarian. I'm proud for what Rotary stands for, just like Randy's proud of what Kiwanis stands for and what Kiwanis does. Equal opportunity. I have 2 missions here today. First, my first purpose is to personally, as a citizen of this community, tell you how much I respect and appreciate the profession that you have entered. And I think our community, following this event, has shown its appreciation to the fire service, to the law enforcement service, to people in emergency services, dispatchers, the medical profession, PG&E, Public Works, all of the people who basically rose up to help deal with this tragedy. And you're joining this pretty amazing group of people. Now I realize, I don't know, are any of you hired yet? Okay, I don't see any hands going up yet, but you will be. You will be. And we wish you the best in that next step in finding your firefighting career. I always like to tell people when I get to do this presentation that the fire service today requires the highest level of fire science education, professionalism, physical ability to serve at any and all hour of the day or night for extended periods of time. Boy, did we see that happen. This fire service also requires the highest level of personal integrity and ethical standards. Chief Boas talked about point number 7. Perception is reality. And believe me, the news has been full of stories of people who have basically destroyed their integrity by actions that maybe only took a few minutes. So that being said, it's important to maintain your personal integrity and the highest ethical standard in this profession because you represent the fire service to the public and to your profession. Rotary has a thing called the four-way test. And the four-way test is in essence to try and encourage us to maintain the highest ethical standard and professionalism and integrity. And every year I get an opportunity to give the award to the member of the Academy class who exemplifies the four-way test. What's interesting about this award, it's not awarded by the recruit training officers or the staff. It's not awarded by a group of Rotarians who look at essays or interview people. It's awarded by the class. In this class of 26 individuals, one person was singled out as the person who exemplifies the qualities of the four-way test. I'm going to read the plaque to you. It says, Rotary Club of Santa Rosa East, four-way test award is presented, I'm not going to tell you yet, in recognition of outstanding professionalism and ethics, as selected by the members of the 92nd graduating class of the Santa Rosa Junior College Fire Academy on December 22nd, 2017. Charles Schindler, would you please stand up?
Thank you, John. Congratulations, Mr. Schindler. When we went to vote on this, when they voted on it, I handed out ballots, and they put a name down, sent it back to me, and I counted it. And it literally took us, how many votes? About 7 votes, 7 or 8 votes to get to a majority because we would reduce it down. But that is a great sign. That means everybody's voting for somebody that helped them, that persevered through the academy, that showed that professionalism. And it wasn't just a one person who shined above it all. But it was just a good testament to the academy and how they worked so well with each other and became a family as the academy wore on. But Mr. Schindler, congratulations. So you guys ready for your certs? Yes, sir. All right, go ahead and please stand. So I'm going to read their name out, and they're going to come up and get a certificate. You can kind of do a little clapping, but we'll give them the big round of applause after all 26s have gotten their awards. Philippe A. Barnabas. Wyatt L. Basford. Derek E. Brown. Adam J. Cade. Jordan Dean Russell Choate. Daniel S. Frazee. Michael J. Gillis. Richard A. Goldsmith, Jr. Antonio Gomez. Nicholas J. Langevin. Simeon Lyman Levering. Connor McKeever. Vashawn Mickens. Devin Kekoa Monberg. Trevor L. Pappas. Benjamin R. Potter. Jonathan E. Preciado. Patrick J. Rabbit. Wesley W. Rager. Jacob E. Richardson. Charles A. Schindler. Johnny M. Shaheen. Brevin L. Sibley. Martin G. Siragusa. John M. Swartz. Colin Tedrick.
Front row, stand. Step forward. About face.
motto. Recite motto. Tradition, tried and true. We are 92.
Gentlemen, we're going to change the program a little bit. Could you go ahead and be seated? Mr. Barnabas, I forgot you, didn't I? Come forward.
Again, just from the class as well as the plaque, we contributed something towards Chief Collins. Chief Thompson and Chief Collins. This is on behalf of the class. Thank you very much for your work as Thank you very much, sir. Just so everyone knows, it's a certificate about to make his own knife. So hopefully you can enjoy that. You can engrave it. He's a hunter, so he's gonna.
All right, thank you very much. A couple closing remarks, and then we're going to button this up. Before I lose your attention, afterwards, after the recruits step out, there's food and refreshments that they've brought for you in the student lounge, which is just outside the door. Grab something to eat, come on out, tour the campus with the recruits, do what you would like to do, but don't forget the food. The more you eat, the less we have to clean up. So recruits, what I'm about to read to you was given to you the first day of class. I'm not sure if you remember, there was a lot of stuff going on. Militello was yelling at you because your shoes were dirty and all that other stuff. But after spending 19 weeks with you and you spending them with me, I just want to read this to you one more time and leave you with these thoughts. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. And watch your character, it becomes destiny. Okay, so that's my plug for those guys in there. So, instructors, RTOs, PEs, now's the time if you would like to get up and make the receiving line out in the appropriate location. Finally, you may have noticed that when the recruits walked in, they walked in individually. Just like they did that first day of their academy, August 28th. What was it? August 10th, holy cow, August 10th. But you'll notice as they leave together. They leave as a team, they leave as a family. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to present, go ahead and stand up, gentlemen, the 92nd Fire Academy. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the chow line.